just a matter of what are people looking for, and let's give them what they want. I mean, it's not that hard.
Absolutely. And hello, everyone. I am Chris Berryman, Coalition Builder and founder of Bringing Humanity Together. You're now in the meet and greet session of Conversations for Humanity today. And just want to thank you all for joining our live stream event. And this is one of the 3 open forums under the Bringing Humanity Together umbrella where people can discuss topics related to the workplace, humanity in the workplace in a very positive, constructive way. We want to know the issues that people are facing out there because it is our goal to work both with employers and the employees to bring humanity back to the workforce. And we always will be going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Please feel free to invite your friends, family, co-workers, even your dogs. Bring your dogs. We need to have the dogs of Bringing Humanity Together on. I'm serious about that. So bring everyone that you know. And as you see, my 2 other great partners here, Sandy Chernoff, she actually hosts Share and Care with Sandy on Tuesdays. And my other great partner, Carla Fedigan, she hosts Humanity Happy Hour on Thursdays. So please, if you have any questions, comments, or you want to be able to jump onto the live stream, please do it in the post on this LinkedIn Live, or if you're on YouTube, please also put it in that comment section on YouTube. I'd love to have a great and engaging conversation with you. We'll reach out to you and start that dialogue with you, and just let people know we can have up to 10 people in all at a time. So if you want to access to the green room link, I will put it into the chat here just in a short second or two. So, ladies, how are you guys doing today?
Well, Carla, as you can see, I'm on this program because it's pouring rain here. I don't golf in the rain.
I canceled my afternoon. It was supposed to be a tips and sips. It was like for ladies, a golf thing where you get golf tips, and then you get an adult beverage, and then you can play till it's dark. It was pouring rain today. I've got floods of water all over my front yard. And I called up the golf course and I said, "Hey, Jeff, what's up with I call it sips and tips, got to have the alcohol first and then you play better." Or you don't care how you play. But I make it sound like I'm a big drinker, and I'm really not, but I think it's a fun idea. He goes, "Well, I don't know. I haven't called it yet. The rain's supposed to move out, but the course is pretty wet." I said, "Well, I love coming for the tips and I like coming for the sips, but I don't like playing in the mud. And it's only going to be like 50 something degrees and it's windy outside too." And I said, "I'll join you in 2 weeks. We'll see what the weather's like." This is exactly why I'm moving to Florida.
Yes. Come.
Even if it rains, I'm okay. It'll be warm,
Well, I phoned my daughter this morning and just to confirm that she was going to cancel the tea time. She said, "Of course, I don't like playing in the rain." I said, "Well, I'm just checking because the other problem, this particular golf course does not have good drainage. So when it rains, it just turns into a mud bath. I mean, it's horrible. So there's no way I was heading out there, even though the rain is supposed to stop sort of mid-afternoon. But
it's still going to be muddy. Yeah.
It's going to be yucky. So I said to her, "We're not going." She wants to go on Friday. So I told her I can't promise that because the Strata has hired some company to come in and clean out the dryer ducts, of the lint.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, they do it.
You can't just do it with your vacuum cleaner?
They do it once a year. Well, they come in and they pull out the dryer, Carla, which is, it's a heavy machine. It's hard to do. So the guys come in, they pull out the dryer and they clean out all the ducts. And they have somebody come once a year, so it's good. But it's from 9 till 1, and I didn't know what time they were going to come here. I phoned my Strata president and asked her if they could come here first. She said, "Well, they're starting."
Well, I don't know. I don't set up the route. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Well, so I told Elisa what I would do is on Friday, it's supposed to start at 9. I'll see if I can catch them. And if I can catch them and get them to come to me pretty quick, then we can golf. If not,
maybe they'll come late morning and you can still play in the afternoon."
True. but she likes to book at noon. So we'll just sort of see what happens.
Well,
I told her I couldn't guarantee.
yeah.
But I said I would try.
It's not up to you. So
she gave me a bad time. And you see, the Strata president said, these guys they make a plan. And I said, well, can we not change the plan? And she said, well, I don't know how open they are to changing the plans. I went, okay, never mind, we'll see.
Oh, well.
Ask. I mean, all they can do is say no. So, we'll see. But I can't guarantee her that I could play on Friday because I've got to be here.
It's no fun playing in the mud.
No, absolutely not.
No. Well, I will tell you a story, ladies, that there was one time that it really rained hard one afternoon, and I went.
It always rains hard in Florida.
It does. But we went to go play this golf course, which actually has 4 different courses all on the same property.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's called Cleveland Heights Golf Course. It's not that far from where I live. But on the A course, which the one that usually most people play, they have this downward just fairway that's like between 4 and 5. There's just like super long, and the water was so bad, we literally was doing donuts, and a couple of the guys were actually having a little bit too many to go on, as you say.
Yeah.
And
too many sips.
Yeah, too many sips. And they were doing donuts in the fairway. One of the guys had to come out and say, "Hey guys, it's good that probably you're having fun out here, but you don't need to be tearing up the fairway." And I was and I wasn't doing it, but I was like, guys, you get kicked out for this. But yeah, a little bit too many of the sips, kind of.
Too many sips, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I had, like I said, I played in the rain a little bit, but when it's thundering and storming and it's just mud everywhere, not only are you like for you wanting to get the tips, get the sips, but you're actually now in the depth because you're probably ankle high in water, and you're like, no.
Yeah. Well, in Florida, here if you hear thunder and you kind of count, it's pretty far off, and you're like, okay, we need to finish up. In Florida, when you hear the thunder, the lightning is near.
Yes.
You don't even guess it. When you hear thunder, you get out of the way.
There have been some people who actually had the lightning so far off that it literally, and then when some people has gone through this, you can probably search it up on YouTube or whatever. The lightning will strike into the ground, go through the sand, and literally strike them through the sand, because you got to remember, sand is a little bit of particle of glass, because they've even seen it too, is when a lightning strikes here on the beach, it turns all that sand into glass.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
So, and there's been some people who actually got hit not once but twice on the very same beach that they walked on.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
they should have bought a lottery ticket.
We don't have a lot of thunderstorms here. We have a lot of rain, but we don't have a lot of thunderstorms. But it's just, to me, it's just not fun to play in the rain. I mean, it's just not a good time. It doesn't have to be a beautiful day for me to golf, but I don't like to play in the rain. But tomorrow it's supposed to be sunny, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday are all supposed to be sunny. So
it's got to be somewhat warm for me. I don't care if it's overcast, but it can't be like when we played Sunday, it was like the wind was coming from all different directions, and it was like 20 miles an hour. And we're like, man, when they didn't have this in the forecast, is crazy. I hit a shot that went dead straight and then went literally to the right, 90 degrees.
The wind picked it up.
Word.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. Crazy. But
so ladies, what we'll be talking about today is more in depth of what we were talking about yesterday when it comes to effective communication with technology and everything. We definitely, I believe in my heart of hearts, should have an openness to the very technology that we have been given to us, whether it be in business, whether it be in life, whatever that may look and see to us and hold for us. because I know that there's that natural balance that we need to have in understanding how everything works together like a computer. We wouldn't even be on this call today if it wasn't for computers. So thank God whoever invented the computer, But like I said, for me, in my experience, for over the 35 years that I've been working for others, I have seen that dynamic that we're so reliant now to a certain extent to the very technology, and we're so relying on that said technology to get things done. When you got to be able to say, "Hey, wait a minute! If you want to bring humanity into business, you got to be able to understand how you end up using said technology to benefit humanity in a great human way." And I truly believe, like I said, that natural balance unfolds when you recognize that. And it's like the biggest thing right now. And I was on the way home thinking about this. You see a lot of this in the realm of HR when they take a resume, look at a resume, but what they'll do is I take it and run it through an application tracking system database. And what they do with that database is they search up the keywords that will be good for an applicant or candidate, and they'll pick those resumes out. I truly believe, ladies, that if you go beyond the resume and you ask people what their mission, their passion, their purpose is, and understand who they are innately as human beings, you have to. It's almost like LinkedIn. You have to go beyond the profile. You just can't really look at a profile and say, "Oh, this guy's got wonderful expertise in said field and everything like that." They could be all we know, just blowing smoke up. You know what? Thinking that's what you know, when in fact it's not the truth. So I'll start without that kind of question to you, ladies. So, Sandy, what does that mean to you and look like to you when it comes to technology and humanity together?
Well, the other thing is, Chris, and I think it's what a lot of HR people do now, and I've warned people about this because I teach workshops on how to interview properly. And the first thing that an HR person does after they get a resume is they go on social media and they look up the person on social media. And I've told you, if you've got stupid stuff up on your social media platforms, you're done, because they won't hire you.
Polarizing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's racial stuff or it's stupid stuff, it doesn't matter. But if you've got bad things up there, I mean, I have nothing on any of my social media platforms that isn't business oriented, in terms of, I don't have a lot of pictures up there unless it's me teaching something. I don't have, family things up there. I don't have stuff like that because from my
You're talking about your company website.
Yeah, but I mean, it's but even on social media, Carla, I don't put stuff up that isn't really relevant for me in terms of what I do, because I just feel it's not appropriate. And if you're using social media to attract goofy people, well, that's a whole other issue. But as a business person, I think it's dangerous to do those kinds of things, because usually the first thing people do is they Google you. And what comes up, of course, is your social media profiles and so on and so forth.
Right.
And I also tell people that they need to research the company they go to before they go for their interview, to sort of find out a little bit about the culture and about some of the people there, to make sure that you're going to be a good fit. Also, even what to wear to the interview. Do they wear jeans there, or do they wear suits, or, how do they dress? Try and find out so that you can be dressed appropriately when you go for your interview. And it doesn't hurt to ask questions. Yes, they're going to ask you questions, but it doesn't hurt that you have some questions that you might want to ask as well. And so you can prepare a few, and I give them, some different examples of things that they can ask. But it's a matter of, what sort of impression are you leaving? And I also tell them, first thing you do, they're not doing it right now during the pandemic, of course, but the first thing you do is you introduce yourself and shake hands with the person who's interviewing you. And I also tell them, always afterwards, send a thank you email. Thank them for their time and so on and so forth, because not everybody does that, and they'll remember you if you do something like that. It's just a matter of what kind of an impression are you leaving? And it's, again, this stuff isn't rocket science. It's human stuff, Chris. I mean, that's what it is. And it's a matter of how are you dealing with these other humans? Are you dealing with them in a way so that they'll remember you and that you're leaving a good impression, that you're a good person and you're a caring person and you're interested in working with others and, so on and so forth. And if you are, then you have a better chance of getting hired. It's just a matter of, what are you doing? And I think I told you one day when I was in a coffee shop with a friend, and I always have my book with me. And this guy tapped me on the shoulder and he asked me if he could see my book. So I gave it to him, but I looked over and he'd already Googled me. He had me up.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Well, because he could see my name on my book. So, that's what they do. And so it's a matter of what are they finding out about you? Well, if they Google me and they go to my social media platforms, they'll see what I have on social media. And it's all about my business and what I do and my blogs and, all that kind of stuff. So it's very professional, if you will. And I think from that perspective, I'm not, showing what I'm eating at restaurants or, diving into a swimming pool somewhere or, whatever. I don't put anything like that up there. Any pictures of me are just, my face for the profile. But sometimes I have pictures of me giving workshops or at book promos, stuff like that. But that's, again, it's professional stuff. It's not silly things.
Yeah, I think it all depends on your industry. Like, because I do health and wellness, I want to exhibit and put forth a healthy lifestyle. So I will do pictures of healthy food or me being active, or even to me, getting to know my family to some extent, but I never do anything that's polarizing or anything like that. I have had potential clients actually friend me on social media, which I'm fine. I'm fine with that, because what you see is well, you and I are friends on social media, and you see how I kind of present what I do, but I don't even do anything polarizing. I mean, we all have our opinions about different things. And like, I might agree with somebody's opinion on something on LinkedIn. But I won't even put hit the like icon at all. Or I won't even reply, because that will show up in my activity. And if somebody wants to go to see whether they want to connect with me on LinkedIn, they're going to go to my activity just like I go to their activity. I want to see what they're all about. I want to see what kind of things they find interesting. I want to see how they interact with people. Are they positive? Are they giving? What kind of things are they interested in volunteering or whatever? I want to see that just like they want to see it on my profile. So, for a lot of people, when social media first came out, we were directing all of the education to the younger population about don't put pictures on your social media about going out and drinking in college and doing crazy stuff, But adults are just as guilty.
Yeah, they are.
And the big joke for us that are in our 60s is we're so glad that there wasn't social media when we were that age.
Well, I'm sometimes very surprised at the pictures people have posted on their social media. Like Yale showed me yesterday, a woman who's a new client of his. She's got pictures on her site of her in her underwear.
Oh my God.
Oh my word.
No way.
Hey, Carla.
Yeah.
And I said to Yale, he says, yeah, pretty sexy, isn't she? I said, yeah, but what is that doing up on social media? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me that you would put stuff like that up on social media.
Oh, come on. I saw your TikTok dance.
TikTok. There you go.
Or the point thing,
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, no.
Yeah. But
I mean, it's just, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you apply for a job, I remember when I applied for a job, I ended up going back to work. I went to work with another fertility practice in 2003 after I did outpatient surgery for a couple of years. And it was a physician that had started another practice. And so it was like, and I knew the nurse manager. She was the nurse practitioner. She's still a friend of mine to this day, but I was coming from working in an OR, and the running joke is if you showed up to work dressed up, you must be going for a job interview, because we would, like, if it was summer or something, we'd go in to the back room in shorts and change into scrubs and work all day, and then change back into our shorts and go home at the end of the day. So, I kind of wore like a pair of capris and a pair of sandals and a sleeveless top, just so I didn't, I'm going out to dinner with my husband, and I went for the job interview, and it's like I broke all of the norms of no sleeveless wear, no capris, no sandals. And I said, look, I just came from an OR. I don't need to tell them I'm changing jobs, It actually worked out fine, and we laughed about it forever. But, people have to pay attention to how they dress when they go for it. And if you're going to go for an interview and you've made an appointment to go for the interview, my God, show up.
Yep.
I know one of the nurse managers that I used to work with, she says, it just drives me crazy. I allot my time to talk to people, and they don't show up. It's just like, you try to connect with somebody on social media or LinkedIn, and you have a time set up. They scheduled it through your scheduling calendar. You know all about them, and then they don't show up for a Zoom. You're like, okay. Things come up,
Well,
but I have like a 3-strike rule. 2, 3 strike rule.
You've got 10 seconds to make a first impression, and you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
I'll nicely message them and say, hey, I hope you're not having any trouble with Zoom or something like that. Or I hope you're okay. But when they don't even reply, it's like a job interview. It's like we're trying to see whether we might want to work together, whether it be one-on-one or in a business opportunity. And if you're not going to show up, I'm not going to work with you.
Yeah.
It's your 3:00 fax.
Hello?
So, but I truly, like I said, believe that we should be able to go, like I said, beyond the profile, beyond the resume.
We should. I don't know if you saw on the trends on LinkedIn today, where they have like an article, and then they have people commenting, the editor's choice, I think it's called, or something like that. A woman was talking about how she was interviewing somebody for a job, and the girl was really concerned because she had a 3-year gap where she wasn't employed. And in the end, she ended up getting the job, but she asked, how come you didn't ask about my 3-year gap? And the person that was interviewing said, I understand that life happens and that those gaps are in there. And I've been on the receiving end of that gap and had those gaps in my own life. And I didn't want somebody to be judgmental to me. So I was not going to be judged as a hiring person. I was not going to be judgmental to them, who the person that I was hiring. And she says, I go past the resume. I look at the person as an individual, and I look at what they stand for, what their character is, how they present themselves. Are they teachable? And I go from that, which I thought was a great answer. Really great.
And that's spot on, Carla. And I believe in that way too, as well. And especially when we're looking for all these great people to join us on this journey here at Bringing Humanity Together, I want us to be known for that. We actually understand, because we ourselves at one point or another have had those instances in our lives to where, oh, you had a gap here, you have a gap there. Oh, why so much of a big gap? And then some people would start going to the dissertation. Well, this is what happened here. This what happened there. And a lot of businesses in traditional business mindset didn't really like that, because they think that's a negative, and it's not a net positive to them. And see, I think I view it just like with her. I viewed it as a total of the 180 degree, the opposite. Because for us to be human, we got to recognize the fact that there are things that's going to be beyond our control. A
Mhm.
death in the family,
Yeah.
we have to
There are
end up.
people that take care of family, you know, they take care of an elderly parent or whatever, or they had a job lost and they had the opportunity to do something else, maybe volunteer or something, and now they're done with that and they have the opportunity to work. I mean, those are all great experiences in life that you can bring to the workplace of a new job.
Right, and see that's why I am so fundamental, and we are as a team here at Bringing Humanity Together, that we have to connect with people on that great, meaningful human level, because number one, we're already there, we're already connected, it's already established. But see, we have to
Mhm.
recognize that opportunity to connect, engage, inspire, uplift, and really say, hey, I'm going to say this again, and this has come from none other than Robert Downey Jr. I think this is spot on. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not even about us. It's about legacy. It's about what we choose to leave behind to future generations. And if we can do that with the understanding of the balance of what we do in our lives with said technology, my gosh, what can we not do? We can build the greatest field of dreams ever in human history if we just allow those things to occur and don't try to take things into the negative. Oh, said person had 8 years out of work, or got fired to X amount of jobs. Well, why is that? That's why we need to, like I said, to be present to understand, and to be present to be able to just let go of what you fear to lose. Wouldn't you
Mhm.
agree?
Yeah. I love people that have talking to people that have done several different things, especially like in healthcare. There's so many people that started out at maybe they were a patient transport person, or they worked at maybe they had like a completely different uh, job. Something's not coming to mind right off the top of my head. But then you see how it kind of progresses. The next thing you know, they're getting, maybe they had their bachelor's degree in sociology or something, and next thing you know, they're doing a PhD in public health with a master's in nursing or something, and you're like, wow, I want to hear about that path that you took and what led you to that. And I love it that people have a lot of different job experiences.
And that goes to what at one point Brian brought up when we had a conversation. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, about being said experts in your field. And when it comes to the balance of technology with humanity, we're we're gearing ourselves to having those three-letter things after the fact and saying, "Hey, PhD, uh, RN, this, that, and the other, that kind of thing," saying that they are those said experts. But to me, when you, like I said, bring that into the conversation, what we're talking about today, about having technology and humanity working together, I don't really focus on the three-letter things like the PhD and
I
so
don't
on.
either. I don't either.
I don't. I want to get to know the person, because see, if I was to end up having those kind of three-letter words things outside my name, people's going to again think that I know something that's more than them, when in fact I don't. I've just maybe gained more knowledge into something, gained more clarity, whatever that might be for me, or maybe for someone else too as well. I am no different and no better than Sandy Chernoff, Carla Fedigan, whoever else you can name that's
We
on the
all put our pants on one leg at a time.
exactly. And see, when it comes to that, like I say, that technology part of it, I don't let the technology rule the day that say this is going to be the end all be all how we're going to create a great human driven organization. Because see, to me, that doesn't speak to humanity in my estimation. It's kind of counterintuitive to the fact, because you're letting, it's like all these things saying now, oh, let's automate all your business through so and so, this, that, and the other. Yeah, automation might be good to a certain extent, but where's the humanity in automation? You still have to have someone behind the automation to get said automation done.
Yeah. I love it how you if you're going to hire with a company, they'll ask you to submit your resume, and then they'll give you 6 pages of computer forms to fill out. It's like, can't you just read my resume? Everything that I'm typing in here is on my resume. Why are we doing this?
And that to me, I want to get back to the simple basics of how we get connected with people, because it shouldn't be a long, drawn out process in what we do and how we do things, not only from a business dynamic standpoint, but the human condition standpoint. Because if we're not willing to be open enough to connect, then why are we going to have someone in our seat? And I want to get your thought on this, because I have this in my head and I got to say it before I forget it. Do we allow companies today envision a community inside the organization as that very same community that we live in? And with the technology that we do have, can we not ask those kind of questions, Carla? Do you want to be a part of something bigger than of yourself? Do you want to be a part of a community? In any of the jobs you've worked at, have you ever come across someone hiring you and asking those kind of questions that say, we're a community here? And see, teams are teams, which I totally get. But
no, it's always been this is what we do. This is what we expect of you. We'll let you know whether we want you to come work for us. There was never the opportunity, really, that until probably more recently, that companies would even say, do you even have any questions? Because I would be asking, what is the community like? And I'd be asking questions myself, because this was something else I read earlier in the week. A lot of people don't ask questions. There was someone that wrote a really good blog on the 4 questions to ask when you're interviewing for a job, and I cannot remember them all right off the top of my head, but the gist of it was, people are so money driven and they just want a job, any job, that they don't ask questions about turnover. They don't ask questions about what the community is like. They don't ask questions about, are there even any like quarterly gatherings for the employees or anything like that? Is it like a family?
yes.
What is that culture like? They don't ask those questions because they're so afraid to be without a job. They're going to take just about any job, and they don't even care whether they really like it or not.
So
Nobody dreams anymore.
Yeah, right.
People are like, I'm just going to take whatever job I can get, and it pays the bills.
Right.
I don't want to live that way.
Right.
That's not living. That's surviving.
That's correct.
And I want to live.
And you want to thrive. And we all want to thrive. And that gets back to what, when I was doing the interview series, and I have to get back into it with a few more people who come on board with us and everything like that. I want to ask everybody who joins us on this journey, what made you come to Bringing Humanity Together? What really resonated for you to be here with us? And to me, that speaks volumes to not only what you're doing as an organization, but what you're doing in the community and what you're going to stand for and stand by each and every single day. Because, see, what we're doing here together is traditionally not looked upon as the best way to really create an organization. What most businesses do, especially with having technology on their side to a certain extent, they put said building up, hope to gain a following with the said products and service they'll put out to the world, and like I said, hope to gain a following off that. What we have done is we actually reached out to the very community worldwide and asked these kind of great conversational questions like we're having today, as saying, how do you express and view your own humanity in your own unique way? Do you like to see this very same kind of conversation take place in the four walls of an organization that you work with, not work for? There's a big difference. And if we can do that here together, as we are doing it between me, you, Sandy, Melinda, Pollyanna, Brian, Graham, and many others that I can name, we're going to be a part of something so much bigger than of ourselves, because we can build that field of dreams not only for each other, but we're going to build that field of dreams for organizations, one person at a time, one company at a time, one community at a time, and it goes on and on and on. So I would just throw it out there to you, Carla. What made you join me and Sandy and many others to be on this journey of bringing humanity together, being known as the people who are not only going to walk the walk, but also talk the talk, and, as they say, create the dynamic of influence to impact?
Well, I adore the culture that I work in with the people that I work with. And I love what I do. I saw the need, and looking at where I came from throughout the 40 years in healthcare, I saw the need to change the culture in the workplace to a more positive, supportive culture. And that comes through communicating and learning skills and learning how to get along together and teach companies to truly care about their employees. Yes, bottom line is important, but without your employees, you're not going to have a very profitable bottom line. And you need to invest in your employees as well. And it's not that yearly employee appreciation dinner or whatever. It's little things throughout the year, and it's treating them the way that they should be treated. And I saw that we could make an impact on that, no matter what the industry was.
And I back you and support you 100% in that mindset, because it's not only a mindset, it's a state of being. And if we're going to be recognized for what we do and what we say, that's truly interconnected to each other, because there's some companies will do the cookie cutter approach that said, this is what you have, this is the menu, and you have to pick from. No, we want to tailor everything to every one, not only just one person, but one organization to the next. Because I know for a well, and you know it too as well, that every person and every organization is different unto itself by definition. It's there. We shouldn't have that cookie cutter approach. What we should have is create the environment in the conversation to engage with people on that meaningful human level, especially when it comes to technology with us. We don't want to be so dependent on said technology to really dictate us of which way we need to go down that road with that client or that prospect or whatever that might be. We don't want that to rule the day. What we need to do is, in concert with that technology, reach out, connect, understand, uh, really engage in those kind of meaningful conversations and saying, hey, how can we help and serve you? How can we uplift your community inside your organization today? How can we get you to where you need to go? It comes right back down to that mission statement. If I help you, you help me, then we help we. And I believe that will speak volumes for us, because, again, it's not about me. It's not even about you. It's not even about us. It's about legacy. And once they understand the legacy of what bringing humanity is going to be about and will do, that's going to be the icing on the cake, because they know what we're going to do is not going to be focused on money. It's going to be focused on the people. Because if you focus on the people, like I say, within balance with the technology that you have, you're going to create that field of dreams with them, then everything will be a natural byproduct effect after that. The growth, the thriving, the ability to connect, the ability to really understand people in a great human way. So, Sandy.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
And I've been waiting to hear from him because I want to know very specifically what he's looking for, and we haven't had a chance to talk yet.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, that's right. I've been expecting his call, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. But he phoned me now because it's his lunch hour.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, Sandy, let me ask you this, because while you were on the phone, we were asking some key questions and everything. The first thing I got to ask you is, what really led you to join me and Carla and many others to create what is bringing humanity together? What was that kind of thing for you when you first said, I need to join Chris on this journey? What was it for you?
Well, there were a couple of things. First of all, right now, because of the pandemic, I don't have a lot of work. So I actually have time to do something else, Chris. And what you're trying to do with this is essentially what I do. I mean, soft skills is really the humanity part of our lives. And so I felt that it was a good match, in terms of what I do, what I could bring to the table, because this is really what I do. I do it for businesses. I do it for individuals. I help them to be more effective in every aspect of their life, because that's what soft skills are. And very sadly, unfortunately, they're not included in any programs. They're just really not, and it's too bad. I think I told you guys that when I started this, and I went to some networking events, and people took me aside and they said to me, you have to figure out what your target market is. And I said, and I looked at them and I said, well, that's an interesting idea, but here's the thing. I solve people problems. And name me an industry that doesn't have people. So they kind of looked at me and they went, and I said, well, there you are. I don't really have a specific target market. And I have companies and I have clients that they're areas I would never even have thought to go after. I mean, it would never have occurred to me. But again, like I've said, Chris, this is not something that you can use a lot of push marketing for, because either people have a problem and they Google it, or to be quite honest with you, they frankly don't care that much.
Yeah, they either Google it or ignore it.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Carla.
it's kind of like healthcare.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a matter
they
of
Google it or ignore it.
Yeah. So it's a matter of what are we trying to do? And that's why we need to get the website up, because companies and individuals in companies who have problems, they put their problem in the search bar and Google it to see what comes up. And if the website is working well, they'll probably land on our website. And then we can follow up and have a conversation with them to find out very specifically what they're looking for. And then we can customize a program to meet those specific needs so that they're going to get what they need and what's going to help them. Because otherwise, it doesn't work. As I've said, doing generic workshops, not so good, because you might not be hitting on the specific pieces that they're actually looking for, even if you're giving them the topic they want.
Anybody can do generic.
Mm-hmm, exactly, Carla. So we need to have a conversation, and whether it's with the individual because they need coaching, or whether it's with the HR person from the company because they've decided that a group of them needs help, whatever, then we need to find out what they're looking for and what is going to fix their pain. And that's why I often send them elements, which is what I'm going to do for this guy. I told him that. I said, I'm going to send you pieces from the topics you're looking at, and you pick the ones that you think are going to be most beneficial to you. And once we choose those, then I will put together the program and provide you with a fully documented syllabus so that you don't have to take notes, and then you have a takeaway. So it's just a matter of, what are we doing? And if we can help people, then we have to find out what sort of help they actually are looking for, because you can't figure it out. They say stress management. Well, that's lucky. That's lovely. That's very nice. But stress is different things to different people, and different things can be causing the stress. And maybe we need to look at their manager, or maybe we need to give them better communication skills, or, it's a matter of what's causing the stress. So we have to look at it from their perspective.
Yes.
There has to be a conversation. We have to know where they're coming from.
And let me ask you, ladies, both this question. I know a website is all well and good, and that's really gives you a lot of visibility into reach and that kind of thing. But since we're talking about technology and balance with humanity, isn't it a great thing that when you go out to somebody and you impact them in a great human way, isn't it better to connect with them and let them actually speak to the what you actually did far better than if they were to, let's say, put it on social media, and well, which I'm sure they'll do, but isn't it better for people just to literally say, hey, you need to get a hold of Sandy Chernoff because she knows how to do her stuff, or you really need to get a hold of Carla because she really is well good into health and well-being. I mean, isn't that better than trying to do everything from a technology standpoint?
Well, it is.
Well, it is, but the other thing is this, Chris, and I did a webinar last Wednesday for an organization, and the guy who hired me wrote me back afterwards and said that they really enjoyed it, and he put a recommendation on LinkedIn based on his experience. So, I didn't ask him to do that, but he did it. And so that's another thing that we can do on the website. If people are happy, we can either ask them to do that, or maybe they'll suggest, I'll be very happy to give you a recommendation. Where would you like it? Whatever. And that also sort of speaks to the fact that we're doing a good job, because if people are happy with what they're getting and we're solving their problems and they put recommendations up on social media, then it enhances our, what we're doing in terms of, it's like,
we're talking about looking at profiles and looking at resumes and things like that. And, the best thing to do is use that as a basis and get them offline as soon as you can. With the world being so global, I talk to people all over the North America, Australia, the UK, and I don't like to do phone calls because I don't feel like you can truly get to know somebody in a phone call. But when you have that visual of the face-to-face and you get to know them as a person, it makes a huge difference because they can sense your passion for what you do and your commitment to what you do and your intensity of the effort that you're putting in there. I've seen beautiful websites, and when I've asked people about what they have to offer in terms of health and wellness and workouts and all that kind of stuff, they go, I don't have anything yet. And I'm thinking, well, that's all well and good. You got a beautiful website, but nothing to offer, So, people want to know what people are about.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting them off or getting them on a Zoom call or getting them on Skype or something like that, they really get to know you as a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're right. And they can feel your passion for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference too. It's, a lot of people have a hard time expressing themselves, Carla, sort of getting their message across. And it's because they don't know how to communicate very well. It just, it is what it is. And it's just a matter of helping them to be able to do that better. Mm-hmm. And none of this is rocket science. I mean, it's really not. But again, unfortunately, it's not taught in most programs. And so some people are naturally good at this kind of stuff. They just are. Some people are just naturally good at it. But a lot of people aren't, and they struggle and they get frustrated because they can't do what they want to do and they can't get what they want to get and, all those kinds of things because their communication skills aren't very good and they don't know how to deal with people. And it's just, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. And part of the problem is because most people think they listen, but they don't. Right. And so they miss things. And as I tell people when I teach active listening, it's very hard to do. You've got to focus and you've got to concentrate. And it's hard to do that for any length of time because there are always lots of distractions. And when we went to university, the way that you learned was you sat in a big room and there was a guy down at the front or a woman down at the front lecturing at you for 2 or 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. It's very hard to listen to someone talking at you for that length of time. And that's the reason why I don't do that. And I've told people.
It's like getting distracted in church.
Yeah, exactly. I told people I don't give lectures. That's not what I do. I give interactive workshops, which means that sometimes I start with a game and I bring prizes. And other times I teach a concept and then I give the participants something to do. And then we debrief whatever it was that they did. And then I teach another concept and then I give them something else to do so that they start practicing what they're learning right away, so that A, they can see why they're learning it, and B, why it might be a good idea to start using it. Because otherwise, when you just talk and talk and talk at people, I mean, even if you're a pretty good presenter, it's very, very hard to stay focused on a person talking at you for hours at a time. And that's why people will retain things better if they come up with it. And again, we're not teaching rocket science. So you put a reasonably intelligent group of people together and they'll come up with anything we can think of. And they'll remember it better if they come up with it. And that's why you want to encourage them to think and to actively involve themselves in their learning experience. And
I don't think that a lot of people are even intentional in what they're paying attention to. They think that they can multitask, and I'm sorry, no, you cannot multitask. That's just a made up concept. That it's like in life. If you want to do 50 things at once, you're never going to do them 100%. You're always going to be half-assed because you just cannot focus on that many things at once. And so, turn out all the noise. And a lot of times when I've had presentations that I've attended, one of the first things they'll say is hey, throw your cell phone across the room, to where you're not distracted by the notifications that come in, and you're not, I'm actually looking for comments on the live stream, but people are like, oh, they're kind of halfway paying attention and they're texting somebody and they're scrolling through their phone, and they're half-assed paying attention to you.
Well, when I was teaching the dental hygiene program, I told the students that they weren't allowed to use their phone. And if I saw them on their phone, I was going to keep it till the end of the class. So the first couple of weeks, I had a box full of phones at the end of every class. But after a while, they quit doing it.
Good.
I wanted them actively involved in their learning experience. And you can't do that when you're doing other stuff. And so they realized that, first of all, I meant what I said. And secondly, that I wanted them to be engaged.
Well, when you're on a Zoom and somebody puts their image up, if I do it when we're on a call like this, it's because my dog is barking or something. but some people, that they're probably just multitasking and halfway listening, because those are the people that are going to turn around and ask questions about what was in the presentation. Because and it's obvious that they didn't pay attention to it.
They weren't listening. Yeah, exactly. So it's a matter of, what are you doing? And that's why it's very important, if possible, to make sessions as interactive as we possibly can.
Oh, yeah. What's more fun?
It is more fun, but it's also a lot trickier in webinar formats.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Harder to do, much harder to do.
Yeah.
But, we still have to try and have that happen as much as we possibly can, so that they are actively involved in their learning experience. Because, of course, when we can't see them directly, we don't know if they're on their phones or if they're, coloring or God only knows what else they could be doing.
Sometimes you don't want to know. No.
Yeah,
but I find I'm glad we have technology that we do because of the situation we're on. It certainly has allowed companies to think differently, to present to a wider range of people. Like, for example, with my company, when we had our global celebration last summer, we had over 10,000 people on a Zoom call.
Wow.
Yes, because it was global and they had that opportunity. And here we were smack dab in the middle of a pandemic, and people could log in from or watch the replay from around the world in the 26 markets that we're in for free. They didn't have transportation costs because they were planning on coming to the U.S. They didn't have the travel expenses, the lodging, the food, all that kind of stuff, and they could watch for free. Where else would you have that opportunity if it weren't for something like our pandemic, you know?
Well,
the people in other companies have been able to do like this one guy I follow, he's done some training and it's been like a Facebook Live. And then he had some issues a couple of weeks ago with Facebook and he switched over to Zoom for that particular session because he ended up, it was like a Thursday night and he ended up canning that one and doing both of them on Friday. And he switched to Zoom. And he found out that he liked Zoom better because he could actually see the people he was talking to.
yeah.
Which makes such a huge difference in the interaction. And people could unmute or raise their hand and say, "Hey, I've got a question," you know?
Exactly.
And you can make it a little bit more interactive. Now, I understand that Teams, which was a program you had used, it rang a bell to me because I know my son, he works in IT for a food service company, and they have a bunch of vendors all over the country, and that they sell to. They actually did a conference instead of their usual yearly event that they do. They did it on Teams, and they said it worked out really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they could talk to me on that platform.
Yeah.
So, you know, because I told you I did one exercise with them. And, you know, it was reading that list of words. And then I just said, okay, how many people got this? And, you know, I got it. And I could hear them talking to me.
Yeah.
So it was fine.
Yeah.
And they were all lined up on the bottom of my screen. I could see pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but, you know, the technology we have is better than absolutely nothing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Because, again, with this, Chris, we're going to have people literally all over the world. Hopefully.
Yeah, we will.
Certainly all over North America.
It certainly expands your reach.
Well, we're not physically going to be able to go to these places and do the session. So we're basically going to have to use Zoom or, you know, whatever to do the workshop. So whether it's a lunch and learn or whether it's a half day or it's a full day or it's a series of half days or whatever it is, we're going to have to be doing webinars. I mean, it just is what it is. But, you know, unless it actually happens to be where you are, Carla, or where I am, or, you know, whatever, then we might physically be able to go and do it.
Yeah. Well, I think in many respects it's a more cost effective. Well, I know in a practice that I used to work at, they wanted to have like nursing staff meetings. Mm-hmm. And so they'd want you to finish up by noon, forego your lunch to travel an hour to the main office, sit through an hour-long meeting, and then turn around and go back, and then finish your day. Oh. Because when you were down at the main office, there weren't enough computer stations to go around for all the people from the satellites that had come down there. And it was like first come, first serve. Some people stayed down there. There was like a handful. But the rest of us ended up an hour and a half in traffic back to the office just to finish up our day.
God.
And we were paid for a 40-hour week. How ridiculous is that? And how unproductive is it for a practice, especially in fertility, when people are sitting by the phone, waiting for their afternoon instructions on what's going to happen, what they need to do that night for their injections, or whether they were going to have a procedure in 2 days, or whatever the case may be. They were sitting there waiting for those instructions. And they had to wait for us to get back to the office. And lots of times we had to tell them it's going to be after 4 o'clock. Well, you closed at 4. Don't worry. We're going to come back and we'll call you. But what if something happens to you? Don't worry. We will be back. You know, so it heightened the customer's anxiety just so we could physically show up for a meeting. And I kept saying, that's ridiculous.
It is.
And I finally talked them into trying. It wasn't Zoom. It was GoToMeeting at the time.
Yeah,
you know,
that too.
Yeah. Now, ladies, as we've been talking today, this is what really resonates with me right now. People with great passion can make the impossible happen.
Absolutely, Chris.
Yep.
And
they do.
Yeah. And also this also gets for me too as well. This other great quote from none other than Sir Richard Branson, and let me bring it up here.
I like several of his quotes.
Yeah, it's this one right here. So let me bring this one up, and I think it's really beautiful and really meaningful.
Do you have a file of quotes, Chris?
I love quotes. I do. And this is what he says in his quote. He says, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes and then learn how to do it later.
Yep.
Um, what do you guys think about that?
That's what I did.
Fair enough.
That's what I did.
And I know what we'll be doing for people in organizations from around the world. We'll be doing those kind of very things. We'll make the impossible happen. We will be able to say yes, we'll do it, and we'll figure out if we have to figure it out later. Then so be it. We don't need to be the know-it-all people that knows everything. No, we need to know what we need to know at the time. We just need to ask those very people who know what they know far better than us to say, hey, I can help you with that. I can do that. And I tell people every day this, and I think it's really poignant, and it speaks to what I'm building here with you guys, and it speaks to my passion, mission, and purpose. It's not who you know now is who you know. Who you don't know is who you need to know. And I think that's going to really speak volume to us about what we do and how we do things, to where people, when they see what we're going to do, they know what they're getting is going to be so value driven. Is like if they spend a contract with us, let's say for $65,000 in a session or whatever, they know full well bringing humanity together is not going to give them 65,000. They're going to get like 1,500,000 in value, because I truly believe the next currency of humanity is not going to be rooted in money. It's going to be rooted in value. And once we show that very value to people each and every single day, and every way we do it, from even the simplest things that we do, again, that field of dreams will be so well worth the building. Then not only when we build it, they will come. They will come in droves, because they know this is the place that not only they belong, they know where to go. They can trust us. They rely on us, and we rely on it's everything's interconnected, and I truly believe that, ladies.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's right, Chris, because once we get going and people are satisfied with what they're getting, because the other thing that happens is they tell others, in other organizations that have issues and they didn't know where to go, or they couldn't find somebody that could help them. So if they tell them, well, these people helped us. I mean, they listened to what our concerns were, and then they created a program that targeted those concerns, and so we got great value from their help. So and again, you get recommendations. We put them on the website. People will go to the website. They'll see that other clients have been happy with what they got. They'll be more interested in booking us. So it's just a matter of getting that rolling. And satisfied people, if they need more work down the road, they'll come back to us too. I mean, I have repeat business from happy clients. It's it's not that hard. It's just a matter of figuring out, because a lot of training companies, Chris, and I've told you this before, they have a workshop for a topic. And that means that it's consistent, and that's what they think is good. Well, it's not good, because that means they can send out any trainer with that particular workshop. But the receiver isn't necessarily happy, because if it wasn't exactly what they were looking for or what they were expecting, they're not going to be satisfied. So they're not going to book that training company again. So that's the reason why we have to have a conversation with a new prospect to find out very specifically what is causing them pain and what their expectation is, so that we can customize something to deliver what they need.
Well, yeah, to give them what they want, not necessarily what like How many times have you gotten solicitations from people on LinkedIn that are, number one, a mile long, about how they can offer you X, Y, and Z, and they can change your world. And it's like, you don't even know me. You have no idea what it is that I need, nor what I want, but you're out there telling me that you're going to do all these different things for me and we should connect. It's like, you have no clue what I want.
Who cares?
Who cares? I mean, anybody can offer cookie cutter stuff, and go, here's my menu. What do you want to order? Or you can say, I have a lot of things to offer. It's like catering for a wedding almost. It's like asking the bride, what kind of food do you like? What do you like at your wedding? What do you dream of serving at your wedding? I mean, that's kind of basic, but in business, what kind of problems do you want to solve? And here's the areas that I think that we can be helpful in, and this is how I think we can present them based on what you're telling me are the target problems.
Right.
Exactly.
And fitting their needs, that so they know the minute you walk in that door to give the presentation and we're there to do it, they know exactly what they're going to get.
So
Who wants to pay money for something and go, well, that wasn't quite what I wanted?
Right.
Because there's no money back guarantee on that, you know? They're going to have to swallow it and say, well, next year we'll hope and pray and find something else better because we don't have the money to get another person in here this year.
Exactly. But also it gets and speaks to me about this, what we'll be known for too as well. To be that guide on that hero's journey with those very heroes that we know that they are and they can become. Even like in leadership, we know that you can be a leader. We know that you have the skills and talents and gifts and skill sets to do that. We just want to be that guide to get you to where you need to go. Because again, I will take it right back to Robert Downey Jr. And when he says, "It's not about me, it's not about you, it's not even about us," and that says it right there. I know what we'll be doing for people will be just that. We're gonna make them the hero because we anticipate the hero of the day to come in to save the day. We're not here to save the day. We're just here to help you be that guy. Wouldn't you guys agree?
We're there to help people help their companies.
And help themselves. Because, if they're more capable and if their skill set is improved and expanded, then they're going to be able to do more and they're going to be more engaged at work. And then everybody wins. I mean, the company wins, the individual wins. It's just, it's a win-win all around. But companies that don't understand that end up with a lot of turnover and a lot of people who are bored in their job and disengaged at work and never feel challenged or valued or encouraged or supported or any of those things. And it's not that hard to provide certain things to your people so that they will feel like you care and you want them to do well, and then they will want to do well for you. I mean, it's a circle.
It is.
I want people to get up out of bed every morning and go, I love what I do. I love the people that I work with. I'm not talking about in a romantic way, but I really like going to work.
Exactly.
I enjoy the people that I work with. We all work as a team. We all get things done together. We're all in this together. We all support each other. We all understand each other. We're there to help each other. I want people to have that feeling.
Right. And I'm glad you said that again, because guess who comes into my mind? None other than Brian Sumner when he says this. I live the life that I love. And we want to be able to show people that we want to give them the life that not only that they love, but they can feel good about going to work with people, not for people. And I stand behind that. I want us to create that dynamic to where people can live the life that they love.
Well, that's what teamwork do that. I mean, that's what teamwork is. It's people that are working together, they're enjoying each other, they're helping each other. I mean, that's what a team is. And if it's not run properly, or if they haven't been given the right tools or the right approaches, then it doesn't work very well. And, it's not about the team leader. It's about the people on the team, and
Right.
they've got to feel like they're a team. And
Exactly.
that only happens if they get to work together and understand each other and can help each other, and everybody brings their skills to the table, because everybody on the team is bringing something different to the table.
Mhm.
Yes, that's right, Neil. There's no I in team, my husband just said.
Yeah.
And I believe in that too. I truly do. I've taught that from my father at a very young age. So
Well,
for me,
you know, I mean, that's sort of the crux of the whole thing, Chris. And that's where the humanity piece comes in, is when people are working together and helping each other and supporting each other and encouraging each other. That's when you have fun. That's when you get things done. That's when we can accomplish and meet deadlines, and all the things that we need to do in order to be successful. It's not that hard, but there has to be the right attitude. And there has to be, that feeling that, yeah, we're a team, we work together, we help each other. Well, again, this is not rocket science, it's humanity.
yes,
And if we can do that, then they're going to have more fun, they're going to enjoy their work, and their business is going to be way more successful.
exactly.
And it's going to last a long time.
Yeah. And my call to action for each and every single one person who's been on this call today, or watching it, or who will watch it on the replay, when it comes to technology and humanity, find that balance for you and your organization. Ask yourself, how can I really enhance the connection factor of my very humanity, or even the very humanity in the organization that I'm working with, to be able to reach out to the community inside the organization, into the community in which we actually are serving, to the clientele throughout the community? How can we have that balance? And I think that's going to speak to a lot of people in a great human way once we see that and realize that we can connect with the technology, and like I said, let not the technology be the end all be all, but understand that natural balance in the things. And I think that will go a long way, ladies.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, you got to leverage it to help you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's another tool in your toolbox.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, it's not the only tool, and you still got to have those connections.
You have to have the personal connection in there too.
Exactly. But, when people are distanced and so on, then we have to use the technology, because we're fortunate to have it and we can use it. It's just how you use it.
Yeah, exactly. And you want it to be for the benefit of everybody involved, because you don't want to have a one-sided outcome. Because if you have a one-sided outcome, then it's not going to work at all for anyone.
No, then you're not being helpful. So that doesn't work. So it has to, again, we've got to figure out from the client exactly what they're looking for, and then we need to provide them the elements that are going to help them to overcome whatever's causing them pain, and to make everybody happier and more successful, and whatever. But we have to have a conversation with them to find out what that is.
Yep.
Because again, generic workshops are not beneficial. They just don't work, because they don't give them the specifics that they're looking for.
And to let everybody know, we're not your generic company. We are human driven, and we're bringing something unique to the table, which is our very humanity. And if
that's what makes me different from many of my colleagues, Chris, because a lot of my colleagues don't customize. They just don't. And that's the difference between me and a lot of people that do what I do. And, I have happier clients because they get very specifically what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
The other ones get some of what they're looking for, but they don't necessarily get all of what they're looking for.
But that's why we have the great team as we do, because see, what one person may not have it for that particular client, someone else in our organization may have it for them. So that's good. So you cover all bases. So again,
exactly. That's why we can maybe do some of these things as a team. That we either do them together, or we set it up so that they have a couple of different sessions. So one with Carla, one with me, one with Brian. Depending on what they're looking for and what we can provide for them.
Exactly.
So it's just a matter of looking at what their problem is and how we can best solve it for them.
Right.
Yep, you're absolutely right and spot on, ladies, as always. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today here for Conversations for Humanity. Again, we always will be on every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And should I ask what's on tap for 18-hole therapy tomorrow, Carla?
We're going to talk about health and wellness in the workplace.
Okay.
Ooh, that sounds like a good one. Ladies, thank you again as always, and we'll see you tomorrow on Humanity Happy Hour, otherwise known as next to the 19th hole.
Okay.
Bye, guys.